So what's the next soil, the next heart posture that Jesus talks about?
Yeah. So the second place where someone's heart could actually be, this would be on the rocky ground in a situation of maybe dearth or a famine, maybe a famine situation. The ground is not prepared for seed. It's not prepared. Like your heart is not prepared for it. So even though like this is a really good word. I'm receiving this. I'm like, yeah, I want this thing to occur. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. You might even have a little bit of good soil, right? But the reality is at the bottom of it, it doesn't go too deep. At the bottom is very hard. So like, okay, the seed might be able to spring up very quickly. You're hot. You're on fire for God. But because like, you're not able to really dig deep into the roots, persecution can come. Other things can come, like hardship in your life can potentially come, and it's going to take away that fire that you have for the Lord. And I've seen that happen. An example, someone that I know, really good brother of mine, even till now, the situation where he was involved in maybe in gang life activity, and one thing led to another. He was won to Christ. He rededicated his life to God. And then, 1 month passed, 2 months passed, situations are getting a little sticky, and unfortunately he was brought back into the world, right? So that's why you're springing up. He's on fire. He's serving, doing different things in the house of God. But when hardship came, when persecution came, people are asking, why are you doing this? What's going on? And he's back in the world because that's you don't have that much depth, which actually is a dovetail now to the third posture, which is you do have good soil. The soil is great. Right. The soil is awesome. I don't know if you want to add something to that.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah. So like the soil is great, but the thorns actually come up and choke that seed. So they choke the word. So remember, the seed is actually the word of God that's being sown, and the sower is God. So when that seed gets put into the good soil, there's thorns that are coming up and choking it. Now, what do the thorns represent? Thorns represent the cares of this world. So it could be money, it could be something that you set up as an idol that takes the place of God. Like the word is supposed to be there. It's not like you're not on fire, you're on fire for God, but there's things that are taking away that zeal and choking that word. So it's like you become more focused on those other things, meaning well, oftentimes, like there's a pathway to meaning well, but it chokes up what you have learned. And a good example would be Judas Iscariot in the Bible. He had the word of God with him, literally in the flesh, but he was so focused on the bag. He was so focused on getting literally the bag, right? The Bible talks about that. The bag. How many people are focused today in 2025 on getting that bag? We got to get that bag. Okay, but what's going on with you in your relationship with God? What's going on with you in the house of the Lord? Are you serving? And what we all know what ended up happening with Judas Iscariot. For those who might not know, he sold Jesus out for 30 pieces of silver and ended up hanging himself and taking his own life. That's because he was focused on things that were not actually of God, even though he had the word with him, even though there was a zeal there.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you, because the soil that you said before, the rocky soil, and then this one, the thorny soil, it's kind of it kind of seems like the same thing, right? Yeah. One where you're on fire and then kind of get pulled back or you're lured away. How would you differentiate the two?
Yeah. Really good question, actually. So how I would kind of think about it, because it's true, they do overlap, and it's important to understand the distinction between where you are, because again, we're talking to individuals who you might be wanting to understand where you are. Where do you stand in this situation? One, which is the stony ground, that kind of springs up quickly, but that doesn't have enough depth, and then versus the good soil, but choking up with thorns and stuff like that and cares of this life. It's a discouragement versus a distraction. So you're discouraged when you're springing up and you don't have depth, and then the hardships will come into your life. Plagues might come into your life, whatever, and you become discouraged from that zeal. Versus you have that zeal, you have that good soil, you have the word, but you're distracted. Something is taking your focus away from what you should be doing in the things of God and the kingdom of the Lord. Does that make sense?
Right, like an idol that kind of comes up and takes away your focus.
Yes, correct. So it could be an idol. It could be of anything. It could be money. It could be work. It could be Golden State Warriors. I love the Golden State Warriors. I'm not going to go much further than that because I know my brother loves sports. Like it could be whatever. Like a good example. You want to go to church on Sunday, but FIFA's going on Sundays. Which one do you decide to do? Like whatever you're deciding to do, it becomes an idol. If you're not choosing God, if something is taking the place of God in your life, it is an idol. That was what idolatry is. So where are you at with your heart?